All right, let's kick this thing off.
Yeah.
Welcome in everyone to episode 11 of Breaking the Game. Got my partner here for this upcoming weekend, Kyle Fowler. Just beat me this past weekend, so that was a fun time. We'll get into all that, but welcome to the episode, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Karen.
Sweet. Well, I guess let's just start with take a huge step back. Your day one experience with RoundNet. Tell me how you got into the sport, and I know you have like a background in baseball. How did that kind of transition into RoundNet? And then also just how you've gotten to this point today.
Yeah, I'd say my first experience with Roundup was back in 2018, I think, or 2017. One of my friends and partner for a risky business, Justin Keogh, had gone to a tour stop in St. Louis in 2017, where like he was just a bot, played in the intermediate division, like got destroyed in the intermediate division. And so like we didn't know anything about it. I'd never seen like a pro level game, just I knew what the sport was. And then me, him, and two other of my buddies started playing like at least once a week, if not more than that, for like 8 hours, like anytime we could after school or like on a every day off. And so we did that for like 2 years, and then I started trying to meet more like people, and so I started posting on the Spikeball app, and then someone showed up from like our bigger community and was like, just like wrecked us, and we were like, what the heck? And they're like, come to our big pickup, and then we went to that pickup and played there, and that was fun. And then we joined a league in St. Louis, which St. Louis has never been that big of a community, but like Grant Longland, Connor Bradshaw, and this guy's name was Dylan, who like really grew the community. But then like got in there and played the league, and then eventually kind of learned about tourneys. The first tourney I went to was at like SIUC, in a college in Illinois, and we played. A bunch of people I ended up being friends with from the St. Louis community later, but had no idea at the time. Like some dude had a sick drop, and we just knew him as like Orange Shirt Dude because like he had a nuts drop, and every time we'd hit a drop after that, we always talked about it. But then it turned out he's just like my friend Matt, who now is like someone I'm better than, which is funny. But like we met a bunch of Origin people at that time, which was cool. But yeah, then I started playing a few more tourneys, and I was playing college baseball, so I was super busy. But playing a few tourneys here and there in like 2022, me and Justin went to our first STS, as psychological warfare. Still, we ended up getting beat in round of 16 by children taller, which was pretty eye opening at the time because I'd never seen serves like Solis.
Yeah.
Anyone as athletic as like Caleb played me, and I was like, holy shit. But then we got the reseed in Columbus that year because I was kind of just like, I had just like not anything good, but just a quick lefty step out, instant step out bang every time, and it like gapped everyone because it was 2022 contender.
So
So,
be honest with me, like, are you truly left-handed or right-handed? Because the
oh,
world needs to know.
I almost don't want to expose myself, but I am right-handed. So I'm right-handed, although I still don't know if that helps anyone. When I first started playing, just on a whim, was like, I think it would probably be optimal to do this with both hands. And then from then on, I just like, if it went to my left side, I used my left hand. And so, and then I tried to serve both handed, even though I was like bad for
Yeah.
like 3 years at serving. But I got really lucky on guessing the meta, I guess.
Yeah, no, I feel like the meta, especially this year, has like really worked out for you specifically because like you hit very low shots, which of course is really good for boundary, but you were doing that pre-boundary anyway, so you were kind of able to establish like a rhythm before other people had to get comfortable, and you've kind of already been comfortable with that style of hitting. Plus, like your athleticism is able to cover a lot of space, unlike a lot of people, so the boundary kind of makes it so even though like you might have been really good at running down stuff pre-boundary, you're still able to cover a lot of the boundary today. So you might have been, kind of buffed in a way. I think you have been, but what's your sort of take on all the rules and changes that we've seen this year?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. When I first heard about Boundary, I was super resistant. I participated in Scott's rule testing thing in Jacksonville, and I played Boundary and kind of hated it at the time. We played 30-foot, bigger ball, Boundary. So they kind of nailed that from the beginning. But we played Bounce at the time. I was way more excited about that because it's the same thing you're saying. Like, I really wanted the rundowns, and not even because I knew I'd be good at Boundary because of what you're saying, but yeah, it's been kind of fun to see that it's paid off the way I've played because when I learned, I feel like everyone was like always like hit low is the like right way to play or like and then like playing good defense. It just worked out well. And the funny thing about hitting at the 4.55 and the spike house, like playing so much basement, I think had such a huge effect on my hitting because I
Yeah.
already tried to hit low, but then having to try to hit super low angles and not being able to hit a wall that's like 7 feet away, even though I don't really think that many of my hits actually landed within 7 feet, but like just being able to hit those sort of low tricky shots is like kind of paid off as the game has changed.
Yeah, I think about like how much better we both could have been if I'd stayed in Atlanta and we could have peppered all the time and like been in the basement just like grinding with each other because I like moved out of Atlanta right when you moved there and now you're considering moving to New York someday and I might leave New York. It's like we're never gonna get each other in the same place.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame, but it is a kind of what could have been. That would have been nuts.
What's your take on just bounce in general, like you mentioned that rule, and also like have you heard of donut spike? For those of you that are not like familiar, it's basically like boundary plus like a 7 foot no drop zone, so you can only hit it in like a certain area or like region around the 7 foot zone. Like what are your takes on both of those?
Yeah, I would say my take on bounce is that it is really fun, and I do really think that we didn't really give it a fair shot because, and maybe it's coming from a baseball background, but the one complaint I always heard about bounce was that like, oh, we can't deal with multiple surfaces and whatever. But like I played on grass with bounce and it's been totally fine. Like yeah, the ball's gonna bounce bad sometimes, but like such is life. And maybe that's a baseball background with like I've had to deal with infield hops my whole life. It's just like if the ball bounces bad, it just that's your responsibility. Just deal with it. And round net's even better because you could just not let it bounce if you don't want to. But honestly, like at this point, like game's pretty fun. Like even though like you and Alex are both phenomenal hitters, I'd say, and I think me and Emerson like played pretty well, good defense on you guys. So like, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if it's middle, like it's gonna be hard. But if it's middle,
Have you tested out like bounce and seen a significant increase in rallies? Like I know you played that one co-ed tourney with it in New York, but besides that,
see, like yeah, I didn't initially like I was really in on just bounce, but then I played some more just bounce games, and I didn't see like hardly any increase. Yeah, there were some occasional ones, but bounce plus boundary got to be one of the most fun rule sets because I don't know if have you ever watched Buddy's defensive course by any chance?
yeah, I've watched it a while ago. It had to have been like before Worlds last year.
Yeah, similar with like how long ago? It was 2023 for me. But anyway, point being is something he says in that it's always stuck with me is like a touch is a win. I think bounce is particularly a good rule set to incentivize defense because a touch really does become a win. If you're
Yeah.
athletic and you touch the ball, you could hit it like straight down and you have a chance on this ball. Maybe need to do this on my own more, especially this offseason. Like playing with bounce is probably a great testing ground because it helps build that mental representation in your head that a touch is a win. And it's just really fun. Like the one we played in New York was so fun.
Yeah, I have never played with bounce, but I've been pretty open-minded with like all the rules that have come out this year, and people are, having different experiences with them. Some are really high, some are really low on them. I'm not really reading into too much of it until I try it myself. I won't formulate like an opinion, but I will say the thing that's held me back from like really like being super excited about bounce is like the thought of us removing the boundary. So maybe there's some sort of happy medium where like bounce could be applied and the boundary moves back to like 35, 40 feet. Like I'm not sure exactly if that's the best way either, but I know it's not super sustainable with just the resources we have today and like painting all those lines that are like 40 feet. I think someone said that like it uses almost twice the amount of paint to paint like a 40-foot boundary compared to like a 30-foot boundary. So not that, we shouldn't be trying to push the sport forward and sacrifice a little extra dollar in doing that, but um I am kind of interested to see how that performs and plays. I don't love the you could have bounce if it lands outside the boundary. Like I think we need to keep things kind of like in some sort of arena type feel of the sport.
Right.
That's what I like about boundaries. There's sort of like a barrier where spectators can exist and all that. And if you start saying, okay, well now the ball's playable past that, then it gets a little bit too expanded, I think. But I do, you know, sort of see like the potential there. Anything to comment on that? Or I'm also curious like what you think of like this donut spike rule set.
Okay, I'll give you my donut spike take first, and then I have one more thought about rule testing, I think. But donut spike, I think it is silly because, to be honest, like, I mean, true, you've experienced this. You're a phenomenal hitter who hits really good low shots. Like, I don't know if you watched our series, like, how many shots that we had would have landed in 7 feet. In my head, it's a minuscule number. Like, every now and then I'll hit like a crazy pull, but like low key, even that crazy pull I hit on Thomas from the finals of Bang, I think it was probably pretty close to 7, or if it wasn't, it was only not because I didn't hit it good enough. So it's like people aren't really getting beat short. I like the concept in theory because I think it would at first make people like the same with Christmas Classic. You saw everyone was hitting kind of stupid. Like I didn't hit good. I hit horribly at Christmas Classic.
What are your thoughts on bigger no hit zone in general? Because there's been a few tournaments now since New York where like we haven't used like the package B no hit zone, and that was like the biggest one we played with. But I'm not sure like what the IRF plans on doing next year. Like it seems like it's trending towards like a package C middle ground no hit zone, but I'm sort of still under the belief that like we need the bigger hit zone, and I do see the argument that people have about that, but I'm curious like what your perspective is.
Honestly, it was kind of fun actually to vote for the Natties because I kind of didn't know what my opinion was on these until I was going through the list. I looked at no hit zone. I was like, I'm so indifferent. Like, I think I'm gonna hit good regardless. Like, I talked to Thomas and Scott about this because I was a super big proponent of bigger no hit zone at first. But I think as it's gone on, gameplay wise, I haven't really noticed much of a difference. Like, I felt just as good at hitting with all the rules, but I haven't played with observers that often to know if I'm like being in. Like, we played in Windsor with observers and against you guys, and me and Joey were in a couple times. I was like, "Oh, how much am I in?" And that gym was like, "By this much." So my assumption is that I'm doing pretty good at least, but you never know. I know Gabe was in the no hit zone a ton when we played in New York, so like that kind of changes the takeaways everyone had from the whole day. You know, Gabe was probably in all day, so
Yeah, yeah. I think it would take a little bit of an adjustment for everyone. Like if we did move it back up, and it would take some time for people to kind of get used to it. It might not be the direction we go, but I would love to do a tournament where let's just push everything to the extreme towards defense and make like a 30-foot boundary, 7 foot no drop zone, so donut spike, and then
for no hit zone.
do like 2 foot no hit zone
Bounce.
and just like try to just like have as many freaking rallies that we can. But I don't know. I mean, it could be fun. I think.
I mean, that would be so. I guarantee you that would be fun. I don't know if it would be good,
Yeah,
but it would
yes,
be fun.
it
It
would
would be
be
fun.
fun. Exactly. Well, let's talk about this past weekend really quick before we get into Salt Lake. So you've been on like the up and coming for a while now. Like I feel like you've had these like mini breakouts along the way where like I've seen your improvement from just like playing with you over the years, but also like you yourself have gotten, more and more podiums over the course of the last couple of years. I feel like this was sort of your like breakout moment in a way. Tell me if I'm wrong, but like this sort of feels like the biggest signature win that you've had over, of course, Rogue that's had a lot of success the last few years. So like tell me everything that went into the day and like sort of how you feel like you got to that point where you were able to play so confidently. And what went down in the finals because I couldn't watch. I was only able to play third place.
Yeah, that's a lot to tackle, but I'll try to do my best here. I'd say like yeah, about what you're saying about being on the up and coming and kind of like breakout moments. Like I really agree. Like one mini breakout was definitely playing you in co-ed and chat last year. It was pretty fun. Like a lot of people were watching, and I think no one expected, everyone expected you and Katie to just kind of like wreck me and Rafa, and then so like to go to 3 and be like pretty much only like one break away from being able to pull that off was really fun.
Just to
Again,
interrupt you really quick,
yeah,
I still remember when I think you ace Katie, then you ace me back to back, and then Trip like was gonna throw the ball back into play, but then he like just chucks it into the woods. That was one of the funniest moments that I've experienced. But
no, that was also one of the funniest moments. And shout out to Jacob for going to get the ball,
oh yeah,
so I could
that's
still
true.
use it the next serve. But yeah, it's been a weird road for me with Brown Dead. Like I said, I didn't really get through my whole grind. But yeah, end of 2022 when I quit baseball, I was like, I'm gonna serve 2 hours every day or go play pickup, and like I was in the area where I couldn't do that. In 2023, I was like, I'm going to travel every weekend, go stay like a week in different places and get as much pickup and as good as I can. So it's been fun to do that. And I've been traveling to I think me and you are kind of the two who have been traveling to a lot of tourneys.
Yeah, I think
And
you have like more tournaments than I've played this year actually. Like I think you have 10 USAR tournaments and I have 9 or something, and we're like the top two like most traveled.
yeah, I have a problem, but it's really fun. I think it's underrated how if you're really being conscious of improvement, because like you can go to a lot of tourneys and not get any better. But if you, the real difference is if you're really conscious of improvement, and I'm not as good about film reviewing as I used to every time, but still being very conscious of like how each game went, reflecting on it, and integrating that into like practice planning is even if I'm not like doing that much direct practice, it's still very beneficial to be like conscious. And so that's been my route this year, and I've been focusing a lot on the mental side of the game. And I felt like for a long time, I was like, I keep doing good, but I really just beat the teams I think I'm supposed to beat, and then I lose the teams I'm supposed to lose to. So it's pretty fun this weekend. It really felt like even you against you and Alex, I felt like me and Emerson were like severe underdogs in my head based on like the way we were all playing that day.
I knew that it was going to be tough to beat you guys because whenever you play a team in pool play and play really well against them, doing it again, especially if they're a very high class team like you and Emerson, it's tough to replicate that success. And also, like the chances that both of you have bounce back games is a lot higher. So, like, I knew game one was going to be really hard. I was a little disappointed with how Alex and I played game two because it really felt like the difference between us in that series was you guys didn't give us any of the easy points. Like throughout the day, and especially in the morning when we played, maybe you hit a few into the rim, or like you received a few that were, a little out of system, and we were kind of making you play out of system a lot. But then in bracket, you were so dialed, both of you, on like receive and setting and just getting everything back in system that it was very hard to get any breaks against you guys. So that on top of you guys not making any mistakes and us making a few timely errors really
Yeah.
put it in your guys' hands.
Yeah, I was really happy with the way me and Emerson played. We actually we went to three with Nick and Jay Wood
Yeah.
the series before. So like we were not playing up to like the level we wanted. I mean, to be honest, like Nick was kind of playing out of his mind. But yeah, it was really fun to play you guys and to actually have that because we thought the same thing of like I was like, dang, that sucks to lose that game. It's gonna be really hard to beat them in bracket. Emerson was like, nah, it's good. We didn't show them anything and they showed us all their stuff. So like we're ahead here. And so I think Emerson's mental played such a key role in me doing well this weekend for sure. But
Emerson is like really great to play with, like from a mental and just experience standpoint. Like he's been in pretty much every spot, played in so many tournaments, has a good understanding of how certain players serve too. Like I've always struggled serving against him. There were so many times too where he would barely just get like the ball up and then you would like butter him back up to the net. But it was like just enough where like anyone else is getting aced on that serve and he's able to like reach with his long ass arms and like just throw something up. I mean, I have to guess that he also played a big role in the finals against Rogue because like he's seen Thomas and Marino a lot, so like he was probably like receiving them well. But tell me what happened in the finals.
yeah, it was actually pretty crazy because the first game, like I don't think anyone thought we were gonna beat Rogue. And then to be honest, I don't think me and Emerson thought we could beat Rogue, but I went out there and, tried to play pretty well. But game one, they kind of had a pretty good hold. It was like, okay, well, we're playing pretty decent, but like they're just good. It's Rogue. And then Emerson came up to me after that. He said afterwards he felt pretty low energy, and he said he went to his car and freaking devoured like a sandwich or something, so he'd get some energy back. But then we went out there, and I think I started the game ace on them. I think I hit like a righty reverse him. He didn't get a great touch, and then ace Thomas to the righty or something. Can't remember exactly,
Uh,
but we got ahead, and then we felt so good on receive. Like I don't know. I'll have to look at the stats on how much I got aced, but it had to be low. I think I remember acing me once to the lefty, but like Emerson looked phenomenal on receive as well. Thomas got him with a few good reverses, but we just received really well, and we were just like getting touches on a ton of stuff. It's hard to know. I'm not very good at keeping in exact track of how things go. I was like, holy shit, we have a chance to like win this right here. And we're in the like late game, and I was like, okay, we just have to like keep focused in my head, just focusing on one play at a time, one play at a time. Actually, game two, I think Sammy was like, Emerson went for that ball serve he hits,
uh,
and then Sammy Barklow yells out like, "Hit it again!" And then Emerson does and aces Marino. And it was so funny. After the game, we wanted so badly to like we owe this one to Sammy, but like we just I couldn't do it to her. I'm sure like Marina was upset, but it
Got to
was just
drop the
so
points
funny.
for that.
Emerson said afterwards he wouldn't have hit it again unless she said something, and he went for it because it's Emerson. He went for it like
Emerson's a gamer, yeah.
2019. Emerson's vibe. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't even care what. Like I looked at like the RPRs for the series, and I know I played pretty well in the one we had. I mean, I just had so many touches, I guess. But I wish more people were aware of how much partner chem like truly does have an impact on games. Like I don't care. Emerson could have like had like a 40 RPR. It wouldn't matter. Like I don't win that game against Rogue with anyone else, in my opinion, unless
Yeah.
like they play out of their mind. Like I never play to my capability without someone like there to like support me that well, which is so awesome. Like, it's so much fun to play with them.
Yeah, I really think stats tell a portion of the story, but they never really tell the full story. And there's a lot of things that like stats don't do a good job explaining, which like especially take this example in, right? Like say I set Alex pretty poor and he's hitting off net and it's like a crazy hit that he's able to like hit off net back into the defense and then you guys dig him and get the conversion. Like my poor set isn't really factored in, and the stats just see it as like Alex hitting it and he doesn't convert his own hit. So it's like there's a lot of stuff that's pretty broken about stats, but I think in the long run, if you like take a ton of different games into play and really look at breaks broken over like the long run, you'll see pretty, trendy results that help like paint the picture pretty well. When you look at one game at a time, it's hard to have like that be
Yeah,
the single truth.
I was gonna say actually, I guess last thought on this, I'm pretty consistently impressed because I think maybe even the beginning of this season, before I'd like played you so much and participated in so many games that had stats taken because I'd never taken them myself officially, I'm consistently impressed with how often RPR, at the very least, matches the ordering I would have put the players in myself. Honestly, I think almost every series we played in, I've looked at the RPR and been like, oh, maybe like because now I have a feel for like what it really means to have like a 140 RPR versus like a 90, and I'm sure that's shifting with rule changes, and you'd
Yeah.
know better than me. But it's been impressive. Like I looked at that series, I was like, I was probably the one on that net, and then we look at the RPR, and I'm like, I'm the one on the net RPR wise. So I mean, shout out to Max for that stat. I guess it's pretty
Yeah, no,
awesome.
it's really cool what RPR has done. Recently, Canada RoundNet reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, can you take stats on like 20 games that we have and we'll compensate you?" And I was like, "Sure, like let's discuss something." But yeah, I think it'd be great for more people to try it out themselves because it's been one of the ways that I think I've seen most improvement in my game has just been looking at the things that I do specifically wrong and trying to like, change that over time. But let's get into Salt Lake City this weekend. So um, we have 22 teams, I believe. There might be less. I don't know if people dropped, but this is probably turning out to be maybe not one of the highest competitive tournaments because I think Midwest regionals and East regionals maybe had a
Yeah,
little bit more like top level talent, but I think this tournament probably has the most on the line in terms of Team USA. Just looking at sort of how the point system works and how they've set it up for this year, there are a few different spots up for grabs. Like right now, I know you're 15th, I want to say, in points. And then like Josh Frag, who is playing with Connor, he's like 16th,
mhm.
but you guys are both neck and neck. So like, there's a lot of different scenarios at play here. Like
Yeah,
if we win the tournament, you're guaranteed to be on the team. Honestly, if we get first or second, you're probably going to make it. If if Jarvis gets first or second, Josh is probably going to make it. And if like say like Caleb and Jake pop off and they win, like both of them are probably going to make it. So it's like this really weird scenario here. I looked at it ahead of time, but like if we get third, you're actually still in position to make the team, but it's not like a guarantee. So like let's just win and get you on and
yeah. I'd
not
love to
not
win
worry
and
about it.
guarantee that because that's a pretty big goal for me this year. I think it's been
Yeah.
a honestly, it's been weird because like I didn't have as much of a focus last year, and other than just being as good as I could be, I didn't really understand it last year when you were really on that grind for the Team USA, and like I got it because I know it's like yeah, of course he wants to make Team USA, but now I really understand the like impact of it. And that's cool. Actually, so have you reviewed, like, you know how much the multiplier for the championship is, right? Is that not going to affect things as
Yeah,
severely as I
so
expect?
the championship definitely will affect things. I think the way I was looking at it is just like going into the championship, who can put themselves in
Right.
the best possible position? Because obviously anything could happen, and there's not like anyone locked on the team other than Sonny and Gabe from winning like nationals last year. But like Dan and Will, they both have 1,000 points already, so like they're probably a lock. Um, like Tyler and I have a first and a second, assuming Tyler's healthy, we're probably a lock unless we just like stink at the championship. So there's some scenarios where like championship is still like the most important for people, but it is interesting how this tournament's going to factor in, and then also like the next one. Like there's really only two more chances before like we have like the USA versus Canada showdown, and then also uh, Pan Am, which by the way, I'm not sure if I am wanting to go to Pan Am. The only reason I'm not sure about it is, or actually, there's two reasons. But the first is that Pan Am is in Argentina, which I went to Argentina last year.
Oh, dang.
So
It's unfortunate.
yeah, so I'd already like been there recently. But then the other thing is that Pan Am is using Strike 360. If you look up Strike 360 on Instagram, you'll see it's like an orange like standard set basically, and it's like probably smaller than a pro ball. So I'm not particularly interested in, playing with a small standard ball, especially on nets that are probably worse than even a pro set, which is terrible. So like I'm mixed on if I really end up going or not, but I am really excited for the Canada US tournament if I do make the team, and it'd be great to have success with you and get you on the team. So I guess let's talk about the teams that are at this tournament really quick. So in terms of like top level teams, Jarvis, which have you played them this year?
I have not. Actually, I did play Jarvis. Yeah, we played in Chicago in the Power Pool.
So you've had a little bit of experience playing them with this specific rule set too.
Right, exactly. And it went pretty well. I mean, we lost. We ended up losing like 16-14, but I also don't think Connor. I have no idea what kind of prep he's doing or anything, but neither of them really seemed like they were fully experienced with the rule set. So I took like all the way I was viewing their gameplay with a grain of salt because
Yep.
yeah, like they didn't look phenomenal to me. But I knew Connor beforehand was talking about like only being able to jam with the bigger ball and stuff too. So getting like wrecked by Rogue game one was probably a bit eye opening in that experience because it's
Yeah.
with a bigger ball, it feels like kind of one of those things where you're like, oh, they can't spin it until you see someone spin it. And you're like, well, okay, I guess you can spin it.
Yeah, yeah. I expect them to be pretty good, and
I do too.
I I guess we'll play them in the power pool, which is exciting. So we have us, of course, but then moving on from there, Jake and Caleb are third in Elo going into the tournament. I played them. I think maybe you did as well in California, but that was with like pro ball and in the power pool at the time. So
Yeah,
obviously a lot different, but that should be a fun matchup as well. They'll be solid.
yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Who's next on there? Neil? Is it Neil and Joey?
Neil and Joey, yeah, are fourth in Elo.
Damn,
So I was speaking to Neil actually about like playing one of these one day because I just love playing with Neil when we've played in pickup in the past. So
dude,
got
I
to
feel
get
like you'd be hard pressed to find someone who does not love playing with Neil. He's
yeah.
got that same sort of vibe Emerson does, where he's a phenomenal player all around at picking everyone up and like just a fun vibe.
Oh yeah.
Plus
Um,
Joey, they're gonna be such a fun team. That'll be awesome.
yeah, they're gonna be really good. And then we got Alex and Ben. So of course, like I just played with Alex this past weekend. They're gonna be a really tough team. Like
Yeah,
they have a very good balance in terms of like the two of them, like for strengths and weaknesses. Um, that's gonna be a tough team to play, but hopefully we get to
the dogs are at this tourney, right?
the Diamond Dogs are here. Yeah.
Dude, I
They
need to play them. I need to play them. If I
they
lose to them, I just have to quit rounded, I think, actually, or just
if you
forfeit any
lose to
tourney
them,
they show at. Yeah, I don't have a good track record against the Diamond Dogs.
I uh
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I want to play them because they reached out to me on Instagram and they were like, "Hey, if we beat you in Salt Lake, then we have to be on the podcast." And I was like, "Done."
That's awesome. We cannot lose to them. If I lose to them, they can't alpha me that much. I'd love to see them make pro, especially since they're a team that's like younger and don't travel as
Yeah.
much. And there's not that many guys who like play with their like OG, partner for
Yeah.
that long. So it's pretty fun. They've been playing for like shit. I don't like. more years than me at a high level for sure. And they've been playing together the whole time, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, no, they're a fun team. Hung out with them at times in previous tournaments, and then we got Zach Snover and Andrew Greer.
Oh yeah, they're
They're
good
running
team
it
too.
back from Chicago. I expect them to be a lot better and have a better result than what they had in Chicago. It's also an interesting team where they both have a lot of points, so if they get a good result, like they would put themselves in a great spot for the national team. So another team to watch out for.
Yeah, this is honestly, I'm everyone is pretty low on the quality, and I mean, I know that we're not seeing players like Gabe, Ryan, Dan at this tourney, but I think people underrate how good like Andrew Snover. A lot of these teams are really like on the up and coming
Yeah,
like wave.
I agree. I think I mean there's like 7, 8 teams that are all really tough, and another one of those. You played Nick last weekend, and I
Yeah,
played Cliff this past weekend in third place. Like they have played a few tournaments together. They have good chem. Took a game off Tyler and I back with like the small ball earlier in the season, so they have experience against me, and I've experienced against them. They'll be a tough out. There's like a few other new teams here that I haven't seen before. Like we got Nathan and Peyton Stack.
I'll give you them as my like dark horse for the weekend. They could be a
Yeah.
sleeper. I don't know how much Nate's been grinding or playing since with the bigger ball or anything, but he's a grinder, and I mean Peyton's a sleeper. He's sneaky.
Oh yeah. My dark horse is probably Shundi and Garrett. They're
Yeah.
kind of the hometown team, both of them from Utah. I actually lost to this exact team with Tyler like a few years ago, and we got wrecked. It was in the Santa Cruz Challenger quarterfinals. Shundi and Garrett like destroyed Tyler and I. So like I really want vengeance on this team, honestly. Like if we can play them, I would love to. And Shundi's been gone for the last year on like missions, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Stud.
really am curious to see how he plays. Like I have no idea how he's going to look, but I expect him to be athletic and solid.
No, I love Pack, but I'm kind of glad him and Shundi aren't playing. That would have been a terrifying team to face. I mean, I'm kind of not glad because also they're a sick team, and I wish they would play again.
Yeah, yeah.
But on the side of having to play them, that sounds scary, very scary to me.
I think they're fourth in their pool, so they have just like no points because they haven't traveled much, but they're going to be a tough team to beat. Um, and I mean,
I
there's
pity.
lots of other names and teams that we could probably spend more time going over. Shout out like Jackson and Isaiah as well. Like I think they'll
Oh
be
dang,
pretty
yeah,
solid. Um, I mean, yeah, this tournament's gonna be a tough one to win. Like I know we've played one tournament so far this year, and it was great to get that win in like the small Columbus sectional that we played. But like this is like a big step
yeah,
up.
different beast.
Yeah, I mean, lots on the line. I'm really just stoked to get a chance to play with you. Like I think you've been, like I said, like really improving fast this year, and I feel like we complement each other's games really well, and that like we both set and hit pretty consistently, and we both obviously have a good amount of serve pressure too. So it's just a matter of us like limiting some mistakes and playing clean, and we're gonna do well.
Yep, so excited to play, bro. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be sick. Sweet man. Well, it's been great having you on. Nice talking to you, Kyle. I'll see you soon.
Yep, thanks for having me. See you, Kieran.
Zip.
Yeah.